Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fogg's Cards and Things. Today we're going to be opening up a box from 1992. It's a collector set featuring some bonus cards. I think they have some Joe DiMaggio, Carl Yastrzemski, 910 cards, 17 bonus cards. Got a Glavin, Robin Ventura, Van Poppel, Cliff Floyd there on the front. Displaying some of this here. Yastrzemski's on the right side, DiMaggio on the left. These cards aren't in packs. They are just a complete set. Hopefully we get to see what the Griffey up there. It looks like that's probably Mark Grace, Juan Gonzalez, Howard Johnson. So we're going to get into this, see what we can pull out of here. Appreciate you taking some time out of your day and stopping by to see what's going on. Anybody open up any cards from 1992 or any of these other years that they really enjoyed? Picking up some of these boxes, it brings up a lot of memories and some cards that I really enjoyed seeing. And we'll see if this does the same thing. I can't remember too many of the cards from 1992, so excited to see what that brings as far as maybe something I've seen and just don't remember. So we'll get some of these out of here. It's hard to get these started. I don't know if you've ever seen this. I'll show you in a second. So they're packed in there pretty tight against some foam. So you got to get a little gap so you can get them all out of there. Anyway, we're going to get started here. See what kind of cards we can get. If you're interested in any of the cards, drop a comment, send me a message. We'll see what we can do to get it to you. Most of them will end up on our eBay store or Facebook, our Discord, places like that. So make sure you join up and let's see if we can get you some cards. All right, let's see what we've got. A relief pitcher from the Phillies, Tom Browning, Jim Clancy, Jack Doherty. Second baseman there for the Cardinals. Todd Hundley. At the time he wasn't too bad. Mark Whiten. Rene Gonzalez. Plesac. Darren Lewis. Dave Clark for the Royals. I don't really remember watching him play, but you know what I do with my Royals. I save them. Jack Morris here. Got another Royal here. Warren Cromartie. Mike Sims, Scott Hammond, Dwight Smith. These cards are in really good shape. No sticking. Mike Sharperson. Brooks Jacoby. There's old Chuck, second baseman with the Twins. He was fun to watch. Craig Wilson. There we go. Wade Boggs. Another one of my favorites from this time here. Steve Olin. Kevin Mitchell. Jeff Shaw. Jim Abbott, Dave Johnson, Kirby Puckett, another one of my favorites from that time. The big unit, Randy Johnson. These are right in a row here. Dave Stewart, Whitson, Lenny Dykstra, Andy Van Slyke. Got some cards there. Not bad. Got a Boggs, a Puckett, Johnson. Mike Benjamin, Rock Raines there, left field for the Sox. Schaefer, Davis, Ducey, Tim Wallach, Gary Sheffield, another fun one to watch at the time. Third base for the Brewers there. Andiotti, Skeeter Barnes, Barry Bonds. We're going to put him, we'll start him on this side over here. Barry Bonds, that's a good one. What kind of cards did you collect from this time in baseball? Got Ben McDonald here. Juan Bell. Quinones. Mark Leader was a good pitcher there for the Tigers. Tom Prince. Fetters. Corey Snyder. Mark Gardner. Chico Walker. Lloyd McClendon. Bobby Rose. Eric Bullock. Mitch Webster. Chris Hoyles, Tommy Gregg, Charlie O'Brien there for the Mets, Greg Litton, Rich Parker, Stan Javier Cabrera. Another Royal there, Todd Benzinger. Kenny Rogers with the Rangers, not the singer. Ken Hill. Huey Brooks there for the Mets. Pitcher for the Royals, Mike Boddicker. Another guy I remember watching. Cal Daniels. Charlie Leibrandt used to be a pitcher for the Royals there, I think. Let's see. Yeah, from 84 to 91. Let's get a look at the back of these cards while we're looking at there. Mr. Leibrandt, you see he played there for the Royals. Julio Franco, another good one from that time. Elster, Combs. I'm not going to butcher his last name. Vicente. Tom Bolton. Jimmy Key. Sean Hillegas. Dave Smith. Oh, Vince Coleman. Barry Larkin. Shortstop for the Reds there. Fun to watch. That looks like a pretty good card. Ozzie Guillen before his managerial days. Billy Ripken. Brother to the famous Cal. Chili Davis. Mike Moore. Jose De Leon. Brent Mang, catcher for the Royals. Randy Milligan. Alex Fernandez. Joe Carter there for the Blue Jays. Fun to watch. Jody Reed. Perez. Calderon. Randy Tomlin. McCaskill. Alvin Davis for the Mariners. Juan Samuel. B.J. Suroff. Andre Dawson. Dale Murphy had quite a career. Played since 76, and this is 92. It's quite a long time. Carlton Fisk for the White Sox. Doran. Stottlemyre for the Blue Jays. Greg Olson. Paul Molitor. Jay Buhner. Mike Harkey. Jack McDowell, pitcher for the White Sox. Chris Sabo for the Reds. Travis Fryman. Marquise Grissom. Caminetti. Reddy. Rob Deere. Doug Jones. Jeff Reardon. Rafael Palmeiro. Scott Erickson for the Twins. Todd Zeile for the Cardinals. And Paul O'Neill. Recognize a lot of those names in a row there. Bob Waugh, pitcher for the Pirates. Walt Weiss. Craig Grebeck was the one down there. Get another stack of cards out of here. Let's see what we've got. Get some of these others out of the way here just to make some room. Lindemann, DeCenzo, Hayes, Wally Whitehurst, Russ Swan, Blankenship, Paul Gibson, Tim Naring, Steve Avery there for the Braves, Gallagher, Mark Eichhorn for the Angels. Ah, there's our first big head. That's Cecil Fielder. Some people say Cecil, I'm not sure which. Otis Nixon on a 1991 highlight there. Rodriguez, Jefferson, Hewlett, Fawcett, Greg Swindell, Aquino for the Royals, pitcher there. Steve Crawford, another pitcher for the Royals in 1992. Bales, another big head here. Got Mr. Boggs, we'll put him on top of his other one. Third base for the Reds there. Tommy Green, Scott Livingstone, Phil Salas, Lemke, and Wegman. Got Chuck McElroy, Ken Williams, Gerald Young, Olivares, Ruben Sierra on the big head there. We'll put him right in front of Cecil Fielder. Pat Rice, Brian Hunter, rookie prospect there for the Braves. Ortiz, Melendez, Gene Nelson, Randy Bush, Mike Brumley, Al Newman, Velarde, Julio Franco on the big head there. No hit club there, Alvarez. Joe Redmond. Not going to butcher his name either. Dean Palmer. Rafael Ramirez. Lee Stevens. Tim Belcher. Mariano Duncan. Les Lancaster. Shorek. Terry Steinbeck on the big head. Nolan Ryan with the no-hit club. Put him in front of the big unit there. Kevin Morton. Rob McDonald. Chito Martinez. Tom Hinkie. Jose De Jesus. Brady Anderson with the Orioles. Ossenmacher. And John, first base there for the Blue Jays, sorry. And Bob Kipper. Get over here, we've got Joe Carter with the big head. 1991 highlight there. Ricky Henderson, that's a good card. Put him in front of Mr. Boggs there. Rusty Meacham, pitcher with the Tigers. Cotto. Gleaton. Joe Oliver for the Reds. Walt Terrell. Candelaria. Dennis Lamb. Scott Erickson with the big head. Piot. Landrum. Derek Bell. Blue Jays. This is rookie prospect there. Warren Newsom. Curtis Wilkerson. Greg Harris. Bud Black, pitcher for the Giants. Jones. Lampkin. There we go. That's a pretty good one. Big head there. Cal Ripken Jr. These cards are in really good shape out of this box. Got the hit club there for the Orioles. Powell. Braggs. Briley. Knutson. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I got that one there. Machado. Patterson. And Flanagan. Here we go. One of my favorites from this set here. Big head there. King Griffey Jr. Juan Guzman, pitcher for the Blue Jays. Tim Spear for the Royals, rookie prospect. Sherrill. Andy Ashby for the Phillies. Chamberlain. Guerrero for the Cardinals. Deshays. Mitch Williams. Mike Heath. Tommy Green. Tom Hinkie, big head. Doug Henry. Barbary. Bernie Williams, rookie prospect there. Center fielder for the Yankees. Castillo. Bobby Witt. Father to current Royal Great. Plunk. The man himself. One of my favorites to pull from this time is Mr. Bo Jackson. Heck of an athlete. Put him there in front of Mr. Henderson. And Burns. And one more from that pile. We've got John Russell from the Rangers. Again, if you see any cards you like, drop a comment, send me a message. We'll see if we can't work something out and get that card to you if there's something you need. So far, we've got some pretty good cards there. Got a handful of Royals. Barry Bonds, Bo Jackson, King Griffey. We've seen a lot of good ones here. Let's get back to it. Espinoza, Eric Davis there for the Reds. Steve Farr, Aguilera, another Cecil Fielder on the base card there. George Bell, he had a long career. When did he start? 1981, this was 92, so at least 11 years. Ward, Lego, David Wells, he picked up steam there in the later years. Gary Gaetti, Devereaux, Jimmy Jones. Got the catcher here for the Pirates. Andres Galarraga, very fun to watch. Felix Jose. Dave Winfield, heck of a career for Mr. Winfield. When did he start there with the Padres? In 1973, and this is 1992. Almost 20 years there. Bazio, Kevin Gross, Albert Bell. That's a pretty good picture there running up the back. Wonder if he caught that one. Roger Clemens. When was his rookie year? 84, 85. And Roger Clemens there. That's a good card. Keithon. Mike McFarland, catcher at the time for the Royals. We had a Brent Maine. 2 catchers there. Chuck Krim. Willie Randolph. Ron Gant. Gladden. Diamond Don Mattingly. Good card there, Mr. Mattingly. Perez. DeShields. Another quick guy, fun to watch. Lonnie Smith. Terry Pendleton. Roberto Alomar. Mark McGwire. His younger days there, because he came out in, was that 86? Mark Langston. Mark McGwire ever going to make it in the Hall of Fame? What do you guys think? Ben Rosian. Pitcher for the Royals, Jeff Montgomery. Juan Gonzalez. Got the Griffey base card there. We've already seen the big head of him. Off center though. You see that? It's not in real good shape, but we'll put Griffey next to his other Griffey there. Dave Justice. Fred McGriff. Nolan Ryan. Another good card, but also off center, left to right there. Dwight Doc Gooden, pitcher for the Mets. Another one that's off center. Dave Henderson for the A's. Eric Hansen. Will Clark, first base for the Giants. Brett Saberhagen, definitely one of my favorite pitchers for the Royals at that time. Mr. Darryl Strawberry. As you can see, we wear our gloves for any cards that we open. If you do get a card from us, just know we've never touched them. If you end up getting any of them, we penny sleeve them, semi-rigid, and in a card mailer. So you're going to get a card that's in good shape. If there's something you want, let us know. Mark Davidson, Tanana, Greg Maddux, time with the Cubs. I think he went Cubs, Braves, Cubs. Felder, Mike Bell, Navarro, Reyes, Joey Cora. He hadn't been there too long at that point, right? Actually, 87. It's out longer than I thought. Malaki, Steve Lyons, Tim Leary, Jeff Robinson, Hibbard, Alfredo Griffin, Gantner. Getting through a lot of these base cards here. Owen, Decker, Reedus, Jones, Trolley, Lee, Larry Anderson, Gerald Clark, Mark Portugal, Ray Langford there for the Cardinals. Center fielder was pretty quick. Willie Wilson, and Pat Tabler. Oh, outfielder, Shumpert. Jose Rio, Brian Holman, Stan Belinda, Scott Lewis, Bob Welch, Bob Scanlon, Slot, Jose Lind, Dave Righetti, Benny Santiago, Leo Gomez, Bobby Bonilla, Charles Nagy, Eric Anthony, Kevin Seitzer there for the Royals, Olivares, Horn, Steve Howe, Ellis Burks there for the Reds, center fielder. Yep, pretty good player there. Lou Whitaker, Harold Reynolds there for the Marlins, had a pretty good career. Kruk, Matt Williams, Brian Harvey, Jack Clark, Charlie Howe, Lance Parrish, Tewksbury, Chris James, and Sammy Sosa when he was with the White Sox there. Bill Gullickson, Tim Cruz, Ernest Riles, Jeff Ennis, Mike Maddox, Freeman, Howard, Smoltz there, pitcher for the Braves. Probably looks like it's in pretty good shape. Hassey, Charlton, Kruger, Bobby Thompson, Hammaker, Joel Skinner, Roberto Kelly there for the Yankees, Bichette, Bradley, Leach, Shane Mack, Darryl Boston, Storm Davis there for the Royals, Roy Smith, Kurt Stillwell, shortstop for the Royals, and Pete Hash. A lot of base cards, same with anything in this era. Hopefully, as you see, there's not much of a reason to buy these cards on the money side of things. A lot of the decent cards that we found are off center, so there's really no possibility of grading those out. If you look at some of the prices, even PSA 9s or 10s, 10s are going to be super rare, but 9s aren't going to pay for the grading, and that's mostly what you're going to get. Alright, let's get through another stack here. Got Scott Sanderson with the Yankees, Scudder, Kelly Downs, Katana, Mike Morgan, Klink. I don't know if you can tell. Look at just on the grading front of things, just show it as. See, maybe. It's not going to focus in, but that top of that's really rough. Rich Rodriguez, Sid Bream there for the Braves, Ballard, Hurst, Timlin, Jones, Jackson, Jeff Robinson, Jeff Coat, Sampson, Mel Hall, Lance Johnson, Mickey Tettleton there, catcher for the Tigers, Milt Thompson, Mike Henneman, Scott Fletcher, Yelding, Donnie Hill, Wally Backman, Alexander, Brantley, Harold Baines for the Athletics, Biff Roberts, Garrels, Donalds, Melvin, Greg Jeffries, second baseman with the Mets, Willard, Jim Gott, Kevin McReynolds for the Mets, Evan Reamer, Furman, Molinix, Carlos Barga. There we go, we're about halfway through these cards here. Willie McGee, Frank Viola, pitcher for the Mets, good pitcher. Cool ball. Rye Sandberg. Ryan passed away not too long ago. Pat Kelly, Jay Bell, Scott Lewis, Chris Carpenter, Danny Tartable with the Royals here. Hal Morris with the Reds, Danny Jackson, Brian Harper, Luis Gonzalez, Eddie Murray, Dennis Eckersley. Good relief pitcher there for the A's. He played for a long time. 1975. Lefferts, Guerin, Myers, Evans, Lucia, Tom Gordon, relief pitcher for the Royals. Draybeck for the Pirates. Bill Spears, Steve Chapman, Devin White, Craig Gagne, Jim Eisenreich for the Royals. There's another Royal. Let's get some of these Royals cards out of here. Got a pretty good stack. Treadway, Darwin, Robin Ventura, Mulholland, Heath Slocum, Van Hayes, Darren Fletcher, Jeff Gray, Anderson, Merced, Andy Bain, Sawyer, Ted Power, Wayne Henry there for the Astros, Lundrum, Rex Hudler for the Cardinals, Steve Finley for the Astros, Mark Guthrie, pitcher for the Twins, Greg Harris, Eric King, Jeff Russell there for the Rangers, Scott Terry, Larry Walker, right field for the Expos. Larry had a good career. Coming out in '89. Ruffin, Rivera, O'Brien, Kevin Bass, Ruskin, and Jay Powell. Again, if you're seeing any cards here that you're missing, any teams that you collect, give us a shout. See what we can do card-wise. Let's get another stack out of here. Bergman, Bill Swift, Jeff Johnson, Darren Jackson, Terry Kennedy, Dave Martinez, Rich Wilkins, Alex Cole, Dave Cochran, Otis Nixon, outfielder with the Braves, he was quick, Uribe, Goose Gossage, Jimmy Quirk, Manny Lee, Darren Dalton, Mike Stanton, Tom Foley, Brian McRae there for the Royals. Get that stack started back up. Mookie Wilson for the Blue Jays, Tony Pena, Mike Stanley, Wally Joyner. I think this was right before he went to the Royals. Brent Smith, Alan Trammell for the Tigers, Paul Ferris, Gruber, Gary Carter, heck of a catcher, Steve Sachs for the Yankees, Tim McIntosh, Rob Dibble, Chris Gwynn, outfielder for the Dodgers, Gilkey. There's one. Cal Ripken Jr. Seems like we've went a while without hitting somebody. Jim Corsi, Kirk Gibson there for the Royals. Had a long career, started back in '79. Ed Sprague, Jose Canseco. It's a decent card. Centering looks pretty good. Put him right in front of Cal. Ricky Henderson, base card here. Well, they're all base cards, but Pete Smith, Biggio, Radinsky, Schofield, Allenson. Ron Karkovice, catcher there for the Sox. Rodney McRae, Gary Thurman for the Royals. Darrell Hamilton, Rob Murphy, Max Venable, Sasser, Walton, Asuna, Kevin Napier, pitcher for the Royals. Burkett, Tapani, Jose Guzman, decent pitcher there for the Rangers. Williamson, Carl Willis, Steve Lake, Keith Miller, Billy Hatcher. There's Howard Johnson. Crowworth. And Sandy Alomar Jr. And Sandy Alomar, Roberto Alomar, and then Sandy Alomar Jr. Kyle, Ruben Sierra, Greg Olson, Dennis Martinez, good pitcher there for the Expos, and Tom Glavine, pitcher for the Braves. Got a print defect on that one. Let's see if we can bring that up. On the top there, little mark. So that's what I'm saying with these cards. It's hard to grade them out. So many defects, and if the PSA 10s are worth quite a bit, especially in these ages, it's usually because they're harder to get. Mike Greenwell for the Red Sox, Marzano, Robin Yount, another one that had a long career, started back in '74. Junior Felix, Big Hurt, Really enjoyed pulling Frank Thomas during these years. Leonard, Edgar Martinez, Doug Simmons, Brett Butler there for the Dodgers. I'd really love it if somebody could help me pronounce his name. Really love to watch him, but I never say his name right. Pitcher for the Royals, Mark Grace. The first baseman there for the Cubbies, Patterson, Rasmussen, Lewis, Dromo Pena, Luis Salazar, Jerry Brown, Jack Armstrong, Ricky Jordan, Lloyd Mosby, Rick Honeycutt, Glenn Allen Hill, August, Boyd, Hammond, King, Zane Smith, Gerald Perry, Junior Ortiz, Greg Myers, Tony Phillips, Fabian, and another one of my favorites from that time, Earl Hershiser. We'll make some more room here. Again, if there's something you see that you like, something you're missing, let me know. See if we can work something out to get you some cards here. Got this stack and probably one more to go. We got Burke, Steinbeck, Wade Taylor, Moss, Burba, Martinez, Maldonado, Magnum, Neon Dion. Gem of these years to pull. Hollins, Lansford, Manwaring, Liana, Sean Abner, Trevor Wilson, Tino Martinez, Gary Templeton, Jeff Bagwell, the first baseman there for the Astros, Danny Cox, Maurice Mo Vaughn, Smiley, Fernandez, Greg Vaughn, Tony Gwynn, another fun one to watch from the Padres, Wally Ritchie, John Franco, good pitcher there for the Mets, Cedinho, Chuck Finley, Brian Downing, Barfield, Nichols, Scootler, and most of you will know by now my favorite player, George Brett, Sean Dunston, good shortstop there for the Cubbies, Lee Smith, Costello, Raymond Martinez, Bankhead, Ozzie Smith, another one of my favorite players for that time, Bobby Thigpen, Segui, Eric Show, Ted Wood, McDaniel. If you've tuned in the whole time here, I appreciate it. Definitely helps us out here, and any money that we get just goes into buying more packs to rip and hopefully get you guys some cards. Joel Johnson was a prospect for the Royals. Mo Stanford, Beltray, Bros, Holmes, Anthony Young, Wallers, Hanson, Bowen, Tingley, Wilson Alvarez, Mike Mussina. 91 would have been his rookie year. Ricky Bones, Harvey Pulliam there for the Royals. Kevin Mitchell, Braves. Garcia, Hickerson, Austin, Warner, Mauser, Rosenthal, Rod Beck, Joe Pitker, Jose Gonzalez, Rhodes. Another prospect pitcher for the Royals. Drummond, Moda, Matthews, Gross. Just moving through these. Again, drop a comment if there's something you like, something you think you need. Jim Hunter, Alan Anderson, Dressendorfer, Willie Blair, Mason, Worthington, Aldred, Earl Irvine, Neil Heaton, Bosky, Lopez, Clements were due for a decent card here soon. That's kind of a misprint there on Brian Barnes. I don't know if you can see that where his picture's kind of within the picture. Well, maybe they meant to make it that way. Kind of a neat card. Mark Davis, pitcher for the Royals. Frazier, Grimsky, St. Clair. Hold on, let me see here. Let's put that one over there just so we can check and see if that is how they meant to print that. Ron Darling, Mesa, John Orton, David Howard, Jack Howell, Clone, Poole, Simmons, Jose Offerman, shortstop for the Dodgers. Paul Abbott, Ivan Pudge Rodriguez, his second year. First was in 91. Michelle Searcy, Joe Girardi before his manager days, catcher for the Cubbies. Alejandro Pena, Ken Daly, Bell, Jeff Hamilton for the Dodgers, Rich Gedman. So we're going to go through our final stack here. Again, if you see something you want, let us know. Try to get it to you. Some of the cards will end up on eBay. Again, just to get new boxes. Hopefully get you some cards here. Hopefully we get into some decent cards. Carmelo Martinez, Barfield, SB Nunez, Tony Castillo, Villanueva, David Cone, pitcher for the Mets, Fernandez, Sean Barry, third base for the Royals, Mike Bordick, Kurt Schilling, although this does look like it has some print defects there on the Schilling, Matt Young, Sutcliffe, Hartley, Fitzgerald, Mike Huff, West, Manto, Webster, Haney, Telford, Cormier, Kim Batiste, rookie prospect, Chris Jones, rookie of the year, Bagwell. That's a nice looking card. Cy Young, Tom Glavine, another nice card. Big Head, Will Clark, Scott Cooper, Calvin Jones, Shipley, Housing, Sean Ware, Survey, Benji Gill, Kirby Puckett on the 1991 highlight. Put him over there. Most valuable player, American League, Cal Ripken. Big Ed, Howard Johnson. Sort of a retro Babe Ruth card there. Van Poppel. And Tommy. Rookie prospect. Kenny Lofton, rookie prospect. Olander has Malacote. Brent Gates, rookie prospect. Alan Watson. No Hit Club. Mark Gardner, 1991 versus the Dodgers. Big Head of Tony Gwynn, Roberto Hernandez, Jarvis Brown, Brantley, Cal Eldred, Tom Goodwin for the Dodgers, Tyler Green, Cal Ripken Jr. Man of the Year. I like that card. Cy Young Award winner. Roger Clemens there. Ryan Sandberg with the big head. A retro look here at Satchel Paige. Reno, Ward, Jardo, Rose, Stan Royer, Tyrone Hill, Al Shirley. Hit Club there for the Braves. Moda, Carr, Lewis, Stacy Jones, Rico Rossi, and Steve Wilson. Steve Avery with the 91 highlight. American League Rookie of the Year. And Chuck. Barry Bonds with the big head. Really like that card. Put him with the other Barry there. And Honus Wagner. Castilla. Pedro with the Royals. Cooper. Castillo. Milt Hill. Sean Farrell. Manny Ramirez. First round pick. Dennis Martinez, the No Hit Club. Mo Martinez. Matty Renfro. Jeff Gardner. Kevin Campbell. Kyle Abbott. Chris George. Reggie Sanders for the Reds. Humphreys. David Cone, highlight, 19 strikeouts in one game. Most valuable player in the National League, Terry Pendleton. Barry Larkin with a big head. Really neat cards. And Ty Cobb on the retro uniform. Hernandez. Brocious. Mercedes. Ramos. Scott Ruckborn, pitcher there for the Sox. Jack Morris, the 91 World Series card. Brett Saberhagen, No Hit Club. And Brett Butler, big head. Alright, we've got the last few cards here. And this break. Again, if there's something you're missing, you like, you collect, players, teams, let us know. See if we can't work out something to get you some cards. A retro uniform here for Lou Gehrig. Blaine Beatty, Royce Clayton, Carlos Garcia, Brian Barber, Cliff Floyd first round, Dennis Martinez, Lee Smith on the big head, and then celebrating 25 years. And there's Yastrzemski in the World Series, the Triple Crown, Carl Yastrzemski face card, Joe DiMaggio, several cards here, Mr. DiMaggio, Ozzie Smith's Cooperstown card, Robin Yount, Cooperstown, Dave Winfield, Carlton Fisk. There's some game cards from the World Series. Game 7. There's Game 6. That's Mr. Kirby Puckett there. Game 4. Game 3. That's Dave Justice there. Game 2. And Game 1. Dream Team. Big Hurt. Mitch Williams. Rob Dibble. Tom Glavine. No, Scott Erickson. No, sorry, that one was stuck. Yeah, I thought that was Tom Glavine. Scott Erickson. Craig Biggio, catch there for the Astros at the time. Tony Gwynn. Kirby Puckett there, making a leap to catch that ball. Wade Boggs. Cal Ripken Jr. Will Clark, I think, in the retro uniform there. Ryan Sandberg. And the famous Ricky Henderson. But if you look down here in the corner of this one, let's see if we can focus that. And it came out bent there in the corner, so one of the better cards is got a rough corner there. But nonetheless, still a cool card. Hope you enjoyed going through that with us. Like we said, a lot of them will end up on eBay. I'm just trying to make some money back so we can buy the next box. If there's something you want before it hits there, drop a comment. Let us know.